So, what's up, YouTube? Just want to let everybody know I am going to probably be going to federal prison next week, actually. The 30th is when I get sentenced. I may not have to turn myself in that day, but that is the day I will find out my fate. I have been recommended from what's called PSI reports, where they kind of dig in your background, see what you qualify for, blah, 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 blah. They recommended that I do 46 months on a max that they could have given me of 60 months, which I guess is better than getting 60 months. So I just kind of wanted to ask if anybody out there has any idea of what to expect, or I heard it's going to be a low-level security, probably like a work camp. It's not for anything serious or violent, and the amount of time that I'll be doing in consideration with how much time most people do, or could do, is not that significant. So I've been dealing with this for about 3 years right now, in case you're wondering how I'm smiling about it at this point. I'm just ready for this to be over. 2011 is when it all kind of started. I made the fatal mistake and I worked at a pain clinic. And I know a lot of you know what pain clinics are, a lot of you don't. And those of you that do know what they are, you're probably sitting there going, oh, you're a scumbag, piece of shit, worked at a pain clinic helping people get high. Well, yeah, that's a little bit true. Initially getting into working for a pain clinic, I'm not going to say I was naive and didn't know anything, but I was pretty uneducated about what a pain clinic really was. I was offered a job from somebody I kind of knew to run a medical facility. They actually called it an urgent care clinic. So when I got up there, it was in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia. When I got up there, I learned very quickly actually what it was, just seeing the patients came in and left each day. Definitely people there were addicted to high-level pain narcotics, oxycodone, things like that, Roxy's. I myself never taken a pill day in my life other than, a Motrin or an Advil. Didn't really make any money while I was there either. That's the funny thing, is a lot of you think, oh, you worked at a pain clinic. Some of you have heard of like the George Brothers. If you haven't, you can Google them. The George Brothers in South Florida. These guys made millions, found millions in their house, cars. I was making, at one point, $500 a week. At the most I ever made was about $750 a week. Worked there for 3 months. It was enticing at the time of taking the job, as wasn't really doing much. Things were tough. Wasn't a lot of work for me to do. Decided to take the offer. They agreed to move me up there, pay for all of my moving expenses, pay for my rent while I was there, while I was training. So from the surface, it sounded good. I probably turned a lot of blind eyes when I shouldn't have, and I'm obviously paying for those consequences now, a million times over. So I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just looking for some advice how to deal with federal prison. What I did was wrong. Regret it. I've got 2 kids, 12 and 14. 12-year-old lives with me full time. 14-year-old lives with her mother in New York. I consider myself to be a pretty good father. My daughter last school year, she lived with me for the entire school year. AB honor roll the entire year, and attendance, she missed 1 day the entire school year. So that's the part that's been, really tough, is obviously you can't hide this maybe in the beginning, but as it gets closer and closer, all of a sudden what am I going to do one day? Just tell them I'm going somewhere and see you in 3 or 4 years. So I've been pretty honest with them, telling them what's going on, what to expect. I'm always hoping the judge is in a good mood that day and sees my situation and sees I've done what I'm supposed to have been doing since I've been out. When I say been out, from the time it happened, I got arrested initially, and they let me out on bond. So I've been out on bond, technically, since 2011 to now. And I've had to report monthly to like a probation officer of sorts, drug tests, things like that, make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I've held the same job since then. Give me a minute. Yeah, give me a minute. Now, I own a small company, completely legit, and we help people consolidating their student loans, doing paperwork, things like that. But anyway, I'm hoping the judge sees the fact that I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've got a young daughter who lives with me, been making the right choices. My sentencing guidelines were, or the plea I took anyway, was 0 to 60, which means there's no minimum cap. He could give me probation if he wanted to, and the max they could give me was 60 months. If I had taken it to trial, which I did not, if I had taken it to trial and lost, I was looking at 25, 30 years. There was a giant conspiracy count. It was like a 60-count indictment, something. It's pretty black and white when you look on paper. You know, you can't use naive as a way out. I clearly knew what was going on, at least in the end, and I decided not to leave and decided not to report anything. So I'm totally embracing my part in this. I don't think I should go to jail, but that's up for the judge to decide. So if any of you can give me advice of what I should do while I'm in there, things to pass my time, any recommendations of a federal prison camp, work camp that you can recommend that you think I'd have a chance of getting into. I've got no real priors, no violent history, so I'm not any kind of high risk. So I think I qualify from what my attorney told me for the lowest security possible. I'm just looking to make time go by as fast as possible. So any tips of what you can go over, let me know what I can do, and I will post on here next week when I get back. If I get back, if they don't reprimand me that day or keep me in that day, they could technically. But a couple of other people that have already been sentenced in this case were given at least 30 days from the time they were sentenced to wrap up their affairs. So I'm hoping that I will be out for at least another month, maybe longer. I'm going to ask for as much time as I can get to wrap up things with my work and whatnot. But so on the 1st or 2nd, I'll go back on here and let you guys know what the judge gave me. Again, I'm sure a lot of you out there are judging, and feel free to post nasty comments in here if you want to. Again, I'm not looking to piss anybody off, just what I did was wrong and want some advice on what I should do about it. Anyway, never really made a YouTube video before, so let me know what you think.